Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here with Midwest Market Management. I've got Riley Sykart on with me here today. Getting towards the tail end of the week here. It's Thursday, May 1st. So weather very important here in the U.S. as well as safrinha corn weather still very well in play here today. So a lot to talk about. Riley, how are you today?
Doing good today. A little bit of changes in weather might be opening up a window next week for farmers here in the U.S. So that's kind of the chatter right now. I'm ready to hop into this if you are.
Sure am. Yeah, we've got a lot of moisture coming across northeast Wisconsin at the moment. Very little activity done here, but let's take a look at some maps here and see what we've got coming down the pipeline, Riley.
Sounds good. First thing want to peek at here is weather. Between now and the 5th, temperatures looking to be in the 60s to 70s pretty much everywhere. So warm temperatures. Other than that, Great Lakes area, pretty much everybody's getting the heat that they want right now. And if we move to 6 to 10 day, everybody 60s to 70s, we're getting to ideal temperatures. And what rains are being received right now, warm temps will help dry it out. So right now on the temperature side of things, stuff looks really good. Some areas need to be dried out, some don't. So it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of how you look at that from a market standpoint. But moving in here, last 13 days of rainfall, pretty clear to see. Some rains have fallen now in the eastern corn belt here this week. As we're going to see in the forecast, there is more on the way. But other than that, this big cell that came through the central part of the Midwest, that was the previous week, so not anything really new on that from that standpoint. One thing to note, little less rain to the west. Nebraska, the Dakotas didn't quite catch as much as everybody else, so their planting progress could definitely be really large here beginning of next week. But on the
Yeah,
rainfall side,
absolutely. Riley, if I could chime in here just a minute. So you're seeing a lot of what looks to be rather alarming amounts of rain due to the colorations in the map. But from a national yield perspective, guys, there has still been, I've been talking around Iowa, and there was still a lot of activity able to get done, significantly more spotty activity, but certainly talked to some uh, producers down along the I-80 corridor in Iowa, and they were wrapped up as of yesterday. On a positive note here too, as well, there's been some decent coverage across the Dakotas, and there was a lot of planning done there. And these rains have been very timely for what has been planted. They've been on the dry side of things. So here it's kind of, in my opinion, you know, you've got some offsetting news here as we would really not like to see this moisture across Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, in the eastern corn belt. It'd be nice to have everything planted, but offsetting that were some beneficial rains for some of the states that will buy a rain every chance they can get.
yep, absolutely. Looking into this, one thing that is different now as we move on, surface soil moisture now, Dakotas, Iowa, some stuff no longer in the yellow and orange. If we remember, drought monitor map was screaming similar to how Nebraska is for Iowa, and chunks of Illinois are still there. But these rains have alleviated a lot of areas that did have drought concerns. So that's definitely something to monitor. Your subsoils, Iowa looks pretty replenished. Still some spot areas that are going to be concerning, especially in Nebraska. That's going to be something to watch. But moving in, new drought monitor map showing pretty much exactly what that map just showed. Some smaller areas of concern right now, but it's going to take a serious lack of rain this summer to start a drought concern again, unless you're in the western, whether you're in Nebraska, Dakotas, Kansas. So interesting there. Moving into the 1 to 5 day, Eastern Corn Belt looking to get some rainfall. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois looking to catch some of that. It comes the $1 million question once again, Clint. Is it going to be spotty or is it going to be widespread? Because if there's spotty areas that can be in the field, well, then that's not much of a concern. But if this is a widespread rain that can keep, Ohio and Indiana out of the field for a week, then we're getting to the time of year where it actually starts to matter a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, clearly everybody that's sitting on the sidelines right now is looking for the window to get in there and get everything done. It is nice to see the Western Belt drying out here a little bit and setting the stage for hopefully getting this thing wrapped up by the 15th of May.
Yeah. Then moving in here, 6 to 10 day. This looks like there's going to be a pretty wide open window for a lot of guys to get crop in the ground. So like you mentioned, this is the 6th through the 10th. I'd imagine during that time frame, there's going to be a lot of corn, a lot of beans getting stuck in the ground. So as of right now, it looks like there's going to be a solid opportunity for planning to, if not get wrapped, get close.
Yeah, and I happened to catch some of my producers. They were in the fields late last night up in South Dakota. So that's the other thing to remember here, guys. We are probably pushing later than we want to be right now. But as soon as these windows open up, these guys are going to throw it in high gear, and they're going to be working long, diligent hours. And so many operations now are running 2 planters, and boy, it's just amazing how fast things can get done when we get that window.
Absolutely. And switching gears here, finally, the 1 to 13 day. It kind of tells a different story from those first 2 maps. I mean, it's showing to the east and areas to the west are getting a decent amount of rainfall. But like we've mentioned, that central Midwest, which are the areas that needed to dry out, it looks like they're going to have their window here. So,
yeah, I imagine it'll happen quick. You wouldn't want to stand in a bean field or a cornfield too long next week in Iowa. You might get yourself run over. So, all right. Well, big shout out to Marcus Weather Group. Appreciate the maps as always here at Midwest Market Management, trying to keep things from a national yield perspective, guys. And while I realize there's some isolated areas where guys are chomping at the bit to get everything in, it's this much moisture is eventually going to be perceived as a good thing. I do believe that crop will get planted timely. Areas of concern right now, I know Wisconsin, we haven't talked a lot about it. I think southern Wisconsin will probably get things done a little quicker. Up here in northeast Wisconsin, dairy country, we're really yet to turn a wheel, but that isn't completely out of the norm here. We would like to be going, but we're not overly saturated, but so we could, dry out in relatively decent time. But main heavy hitting areas of the country that are experiencing devastating problems are pretty much non-existent right now. So appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, this will be up on YouTube. If you visit us at midwestmarketmanagement.com, you can get signed up and we'll send you our price alerts as we're selling, as well as U.S. and Safrina weather text to your cell phone. We have a lot of audio comments up on the website as well that you might find enjoyable.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets, capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.